Your background, you've obviously had a couple of different careers in your life, and I'd love to learn kind of how you got here. I think that everyone's got their story to tell, and everyone gets to where they are in a very, very different way.
Yeah.
I never dreamed that I would be in technology. Even 4 years ago. So, and my journey to technology was one that it would not be a standard journey to technology. So, I'd love to understand a little bit more about your journey and kind of how you got to be doing what you're doing.
Well, this business, Australian Home Brewing, was actually a business owned by my father. And as a kid, I used to come in and do some holiday work and pack malt and pack hops and unbox Cooper's cans and things like that. I have a lot of great memories about that. And of course, Dad would bring the stuff home and I'd start brewing it. And I was very popular because I always had beer on hand and no one else could afford to buy beer. But that wasn't really my career at that point. And I went off, did a lot of traveling and various other things. But to cut a long story short, I had a background in AFL Clubland and also at the AFL itself. And in fact, I worked with your uncle.
You did?
Yeah, I did, Andrew. And
which clubs did you? Which club did you work at?
I worked at Hawthorn, so I was part of Operation Payback. People old enough to remember would remember that there was a proposed merger between Hawthorn and Melbourne back in the 90s. And
was that during the Joseph Goodnick era?
It was. Well, Joseph Goodnick came after that period, but so he helped save Melbourne Football Club, and Hawthorn Football Club also helped save Melbourne Football Club by voting no to the merger. So it didn't happen. We didn't get any thanks on grand final day for thank you, Hawthorn, for making sure that we still exist as a football club. And so I worked with Don Scott and the volunteers, and we helped save the club, and they ended up going into the membership department after the vote went through as a no back in 96, 97. And anyway, that pathway led me into the AFL, and I spent some years at the AFL working and in corporate, in the sort of the corporate and sponsorship area. And yeah, just always had the idea that I'd probably like to work for myself. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was an opportunity, and I ended up purchasing the business off my father, and yeah, so I've been in it for quite a while. So that's sort of
for sure
a short story on the journey. Yeah, but nothing can prepare you like for small business, like actually diving into a small business.
Yeah, there's an enormous shift from managing large corporate relationships where you're dealing with people who, when it's not in fact their business, and it's not your business, but you're maintaining
money to spend.
There's a lot of money to spend. There's a lot of money on entertainment to spend, and especially in I know from that industry. My family's been my father and my uncle both been in that industry in football for a lot of years, and there's a lot of that entertainment dollar that gets spun around. Yes. So it's vastly different to owning your own small business.
It's something that I do miss, I have to admit.
Yep.
But so we're in a different space now, and it's a really happy space to work in, and yeah, it's a good place to be.